Hi, my beautiful friend. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 meals that you can have regularly that will help your hair to grow long and shinier. The reason is because these meals are nutrient dense and they also incorporate the 10 superfoods that I shared with you before that help your hair to go long and thick. And these are meals that I have regularly. They are easy to create and really delicious. If you want access to the recipes yourself so that you can read through them and even help you with your shopping, I have added a PDF that's free in the description below so you can go and grab them and just understand more of the recipes and make them your own. And to be honest, these are meals that I have regularly, but I hadn't been really measuring them before or even doing the 1 cup this, the 1 pinch that. I would just eye the ingredients. But in order to make this more measurable and also for you to understand, especially if you are a person who really loves to measure and understand each component of your recipe, I sat back and I thought about what measurement would be good for your meals so that you can use them. But you can also add some variations yourself if you want, which I do a lot of. But the most important thing is to add these different ingredients, especially the superfoods, so that you can have them regularly and nourish your body, your scalp, and your hair. So let's go into the recipes, and I'll be putting the recipes on the screen of this video so that you can see more of what I'm talking about. If you are listening to the podcast, I will be describing the recipes in detail so that you can still listen along, and the description should have the downloads as well so that you can go and check them out and read them yourself for further information if you want. So without further ado, let's go into the recipes. And the first one we're going to start with is a power salad. Now remember, in previous episodes, I had been speaking about enjoying salads and also adding them regularly to my diet. And I have this salad that I enjoy making because it has a few of the ingredients, the superfoods in my previous video, which are mangoes, spinach, pomegranates, and pumpkin seeds. So those are the 4 main ingredients along with some other things. So the other things that you add to this, you can probably add some chopped boiled beets. It is hard for me to find the full beets, like fresh beets in supermarkets. Usually I get them boiled, but those are fine. I just chop them up and add them to my salad regularly. Some olive oil is just so good to have the oils that you need in your meals. I'm seeing a neighbor looking at me, which is fine. It's fine. Content creation. Anyways, back into the video. So I like to add as well balsamic vinegar. It just adds this nice creamy yet acidic component to my salad. But if you still want something that has the acidic nature and also gives you vitamin C to help you to absorb iron, you could add lemon juice to your salad and a pinch of salt to give it some flavor. And with salads, the fun part is that you can add, you can subtract to your liking, or even what you have in your fridge that day or in your pantry. So sometimes if I have some blueberries, I will add that to my salad because it kind of adds like this sweet, tangy taste as well, and some tomatoes and even some avocado. So make it your own. But for the superfoods, for this particular recipe, you can have your mangoes, you can have your pomegranate seeds, the seeds. I didn't mention that, but the seeds, and the pumpkin seeds, as well as spinach. Spinach is just a good base for your salad. But if you don't have spinach on your own and you have like the regular chopped leaves, like maybe your lettuces with your other components of a tossed salad, like the regular one, you can use that as a base for your salad as well. And that is fine. You know, make it your own, make it fun, make it colorful and really delicious and good for your hair. And the reason why this salad helps your hair is because spinach boosts your iron. You also have vitamins A and C, which the other fruits and vegetables have. And beets are really good for your blood and your heart. So I didn't put it in this particular recipe, but maybe I should because I like having beets with my salad as well. And then with the olive oil, it's just good to have the moisture and also good for your brain health. And balsamic vinegar is also really high in antioxidants, just as the rest of the components too, in different variations. So it's good to have these combinations into your salad. So let's go into the next meal, which is like this nice, juicy smoothie component, which I love to have regularly. Is a kiwi smoothie, and kiwi is the main component of this smoothie because it's really high in vitamin C and A, which is so good for your hair, as well as folate, many other things. So along with the kiwi, you can have avocado, you can add some sweet red apples. It also gives the sweetness to your drink. You can have some coconut water or maybe a plant-based milk to blend up together to give you that liquid part of your smoothie. Other things you can add would be spinach. So a cup of spinach. You can maybe add as a booster some flax seeds or chia seeds. And if you want to add more sweetness to your smoothie, you could maybe add one date. A date is really good for your hair as well, or some honey or a sweetener of your choice. So I mentioned that the kiwi is high in vitamin A. It probably is, I don't know, but I meant to say vitamin E. Vitamin E is really good for your hair. But I think the other ingredients, maybe avocados are high. I'm sure vitamin A is there somewhere, which is also really good for your hair. And you also have iron and zinc, which is a part of this smoothie, which is good for nourishing your hair, your follicles, for good and strong hair growth. The next meal is a nice, rich and hearty meal, especially in the cold season. If you're in cold climates and you just need something rich and packed and warm. And this is a lentil stew. I really love this because in Spain, they have this version that is really rich and packed, depending on if you want to eat meats or not. But they have this recipe called lentejas. Lentejas is literally the word for lentils, but they are talking about a specific stew that has, of course, the lentils. It's good to soak them 1 hour before you cook them together with some carrots, always good for your hair, some potatoes, tomatoes and onions. So these are really packed. This stew is packed with a lot of vegetables. And you can add some onion and garlic, which I found out recently is really good for your hair. Maybe the fresh version is better, but still, I mean, adding it together, I think you get something from it. And it's so good. It adds to the richness and the taste as well. So along with like different seasonings like salt and pepper, maybe some paprika, and you can add chicken broth or just water. And there's this other component. So there's this sausage, a cured sausage that is found in Spain and Mexico. I don't know about other countries, but maybe you can find something that is really salty and rich with flavor that helps to disperse the flavor throughout the stew. So it's called a chorizo, and this is a cured type of sausage that is filled with paprika and also like the cured pork and stuff. I'm kind of getting nervous because like growing up I didn't eat a lot of pork, and I still don't. I mean, I didn't eat pork at all and I still don't eat a lot, but this is really good. And it's hard living in Spain without having pork. They eat it a lot here and you kind of get used to it. But all of that is to say that this kind of sausage really adds something rich to this stew and just puts it at another level. So I don't know if you could find something that is also cured, like maybe cured beef or fish, although I don't know what the flavor would be like, just to add a sort of richness to your stew, and it just tastes hearty. And when you do this, you don't have to add a lot of salt because it's already in the cured meats. But depending on what you want, or even just keep it vegetarian if you want. Of course, it's healthier that way. You still have protein from the lentils, which is good for your hair. But enjoy the meals you're having. It's easier for you to have these meals that are good for you when you enjoy them. So the lentils help with your hair by providing protein and iron, which is so good for you. And also the carrots are so good for your hair and your scalp. And the onions and the garlic that you add, they have sulfur, which is good for building keratin in your hair. In the salad that I mentioned before, if you want to like put it up an extra notch, maybe you could chop some onions and add it to your salad. I personally haven't been doing that yet, but I'm considering it now that I'm learning how these normal like ingredients are good for your hair. So I'm gonna try it and see, and maybe you would want to do that as well. So here's something that you can have for your breakfast that's so good for your hair and your skin and your body. So it's an avocado toast. So you can have the avocado or pears, as we say in Jamaica, with a toast. So you mash it together. So it would be the avocado that's nice and ripe that you can mash. And you can add some eggs on top, or maybe even salmon, which is good for your hair too. I also saw this vegetarian version. I'm trying to remember what it was. So it was avocado and apricots. I haven't had that before, but it is a vegetarian version that you can have if you choose. And you can have this for your breakfast and drizzle some olive oil on top, like on top of your eggs or on top of the salmon with some salt, and just like have a go at it and enjoy yourself. Maybe you could even add some pumpkin seeds on top of the toast if you want. But the avocado is really good for your hair and your skin. And then eggs are also good for your hair because they have protein and biotin, which is good for building the hair structure that's good and thick. Consequently enough, avocados are also rich in biotin. So you're just having a really nice, delicious, and nutrient-dense food that's good for your hair. I like to have these avocados toast maybe twice a week for my breakfast, or maybe even 3 times. Because it's just simple to make and really rich in the nutrients that are good for your body. So try it if you haven't before. Another meal that I enjoy having is a roasted veggie tray. This is something that I was introduced to when I visited Kansas City, and this girl from Switzerland who was vegetarian made this meal with roasted Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes and just different things that she would simply just put on a tray in the oven, add some salt and some olive oil. So the ingredients that are good for your hair in this would be, you can have some chopped carrots, some chopped pumpkin, sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. And to add some seasoning on top, you have your salt. You can also have some paprika, some black pepper, however to your liking. And you put the vegetables on the tray, roast them for 20 to 25 minutes. Let me check the degrees. So maybe at 200 degrees Celsius or less. And just have your meal and enjoy it. Maybe you can add some meat to it if you want, or just have them on their own, because this is really rich and good for you and has the components that are good for your hair. You can also add some onions if you want. So the reason this is good for your hair is that, especially for the sweet potatoes, they are so rich in vitamin A, which is good for your scalp. And also Brussels sprouts are high in iron, which is good for women and good for your hair. I remember this lady giving me the advice to add some Brussels sprouts to my diet when I was struggling with anemia. And I think after having just like one meal of maybe 1 or 2 cups of Brussels sprouts, my energy rose up to another level. So these are good and rich. And I usually get them in a frozen pack. I haven't found it, but I guess I'm not actively looking, but I haven't found like fresh Brussels sprouts to add to my meals. I usually get them frozen, but that seems to be enough for me and to get the nutrients that I need. So try it and see what works best for you and what you can find in your local supermarket. So these are some amazing super meals that you can add to your diet that are really good for your hair and rich in nutrients. If you have any questions about these or want to know about food that's really good for your hair, let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought